Give me my theme music. On this week's edition of Carving Up the Context, we are going to be talking Taylor Swift, live on Carving It Up. And Taylor Swift is one of the most famous human beings in the world. I would go so far as to say that currently she's probably the most famous woman on planet Earth. There's a lot of women who have held that title in recent years. You can throw Oprah, Beyonce, maybe Rihanna. If you want to go into acting, somebody like a Julia Roberts or a Meryl Streep. A lot of superstars that are popular worldwide here in the United States. They're from here in the United States. Taylor Swift is obviously one of those people. Her Eras Tour was one of the most successful tours of all time historically. More on that a little later. But she is dating, as we all know, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. They've been dating for about 4 months or so. The first time I can remember seeing that they were actually together was, I think it was week 3 when the Chiefs beat the Chicago Bears at Arrowhead on a game on Fox. And ever since then, there's been a lot of outrage. They're showing Taylor Swift too much on my television. And aside for a moment, normally on Carving Up Live, like 99% of the time, I want to, at least I hope and believe this to be the case, that I have a diverse audience. Whether it's your background, whether it's your beliefs, whether it's just how you see the world, hopefully my audience is pretty diverse. I think we as Americans, we as people are a diverse group of people. And so, the diverse society, so to speak. And I try to speak to everybody the same way. This is not one of those days. Or at least this segment is not one of those segments. I'm addressing one group and one group specifically, and that is insecure men who are outraged by Taylor Swift. So I've been lectured on since this Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce relationship began this season, that they're showing Taylor Swift too much on television. I can't focus on the game because they're showing her too much in the box. Really? They're showing her too much, really? Okay, let's look at this. So the Chiefs played the Ravens on Sunday. I don't know if you heard, in the AFC Championship game. The winner of that game got to the Super Bowl. By the way, the most watched AFC Championship game ever. It got higher ratings than those Steelers-Ravens AFC title games or those Manning-Brady, highest rated AFC title game ever. The game peaked with more than 64 million viewers and on average hit about 55.5 million viewers. That is up 17% from last year's comparable window. Paramount Plus recording its most streamed live event of all time, and CBS still has delivered audiences of 50-plus million viewers in back-to-back weeks. Take a wild guess as to which game CBS did the week before. Chiefs-Bills. The Ravens-Chiefs game lasted 3 hours. The broadcast, that is, lasted 3 hours and 8 minutes. It's about how long an NFL game takes. Taylor Swift was shown on screen in 3 hours and 8 minutes for 44 seconds. For context, this is Carving Up the Context after all, that is 17 seconds longer than crab cakes in Baltimore and a whopping 20 seconds more than dolphins, sharks, and jellyfish at the local aquarium in Baltimore. 44 seconds. If you look at the Chiefs' 3 playoff games, the game against Miami, Buffalo, Baltimore, combine the airtime of those 3 games, it adds up to 9 hours and 17 minutes. Taylor Swift has been on screen a grand total, keep in mind, 9 hours, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. If you want to do the math on that, that means she's shown on screen 0.4% of the broadcasts. The other 99.6, I should say the 99.94 or 6, 99.946. You get your football. I get my football. As has always been the case. People are acting as if that all of a sudden we are like missing out on plays. Like they're showing Taylor's live reaction to the play as it's happening, and we just missed a Mahomes to Kelce 30-yard bomb. Or we just missed Josh Allen fling a dart to Stephon Diggs. Or we just missed Lamar Jackson complete a pass to himself for about a 15, 20-yard gain. We missed that because they were showing Taylor Swift mid-play. That's what Twitter would like you to believe. That's what some on social media, some as in insecure men, because women really aren't bothered by this. Matter of fact, women are more in tune to the NFL than they've ever been. I saw this today. This is the highest rated season, the highest female viewership in the history of the National Football League since they started tracking that in the year 2000. Something else, too, that's worth noting. By the reaction on social media, you would think that Taylor Swift is the first celebrity fan, or in her case, she's obviously romantically involved with one of the players, but still, she is obviously now a fan of the Chiefs. She's rooting for the Chiefs to win. As you would think that she's the only celebrity fan out there. That's funny. Matthew McConaughey, Texas. Eminem, Detroit Lions fan. I think about Jack Nicholson with the Lakers sitting courtside. I think about Drake sitting courtside and going so far at one point in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2019 to literally give his head coach, Nick Nurse, a shoulder massage. I'm old enough to remember Spike Lee getting interviewed courtside during the game. For the record, got no issue with that. That's Spike bleeping Lee. He's one of the greatest directors in Hollywood. Massive Knicks fan. I want to know what he thinks about it. I want to know what he thinks about how the Knicks are playing or their season or what they need to do to win a championship or something. I want to know what Spike Lee thinks. Because it's like two worlds intersect. The celebrity world, the sports world, they intertwine with that. Lil Wayne, massive Packers fan. One game this season, I think it was the game when they beat Kansas City, ironically. Lil Wayne led the team out onto the field as if he were a player, which again, I got no problem with that. That's Lil Wayne. He's one of the greatest rappers ever. Led the team out in the field. Spike Lee getting interviewed courtside by a reporter from a national TV network during the game. We're hearing Spike Lee commentary as it's happening. By the way, Toronto locally's done that with Drake in the past. Taylor Swift just up in the box with Miss Kelce, with Jason Kelce, whoever she's with. Sometimes her parents have been there. Enjoying her boyfriend, playing football at the highest level. Oftentimes the individuals who are bothered by this, again, I want to emphasize insecure men. Usually the people that are bothered by her the most, they don't like her because she's everything they're not. Friendly, kind, happy, good-looking, in a good relationship, successful. She's everything that they're not. And by the way, from the personal side, I don't think there's that many celebrities in any walk of life. Politics. Acting, entertainment, sports. I think sports has more great role models than all of those other avenues, my personal opinion. But look at all those. Not that many better role models than Taylor Swift. Sustained success. She's been famous since she was a teenager. She's now in her mid-30s, dating Travis Kelce, and more popular than ever. She has grown in terms of her popularity, in terms of her influence. She sings to sick kids in hospitals. She, at one time, I remember years ago, invited her own fans to party in her own home. She's one of the most accessible celebrities out there. Her Eras tour boosted the United States economy. I hear from some of the economy. Well, Taylor Swift was pretty darn impactful in a major way, in a positive way for the American economy. And oh, by the way, this is going to make some people uncomfortable. She encourages young people, that 18 to 34 range. By the way, highest rated season in the NFL among people of ages 18 to 34 since 2019, so in 4 years. That she encourages people of that age group to do the most American thing you can do, and that is exercise your right to vote. A lot of people have died for that right to vote in many walks of life, many respects. And here we are, election year 2024. I'm going to vote for the first time. It's the first election I've ever been eligible to vote in due to my age. And I'm sure the same could be said about a lot of people out there, a lot of Swifties. She got people involved in 2020. She's going to get people involved in 2024. And to some, that's kind of threatening, whether that's due to her political leanings or whatever else may make them uncomfortable. Just the fact that she's a successful woman in entertainment and she has a major influence in the United States of America. There's a lot of areas we could take this in terms of the fact that you have individuals such as, I will name them, Clay Travis, of Outkick, who has went so far as to call out Travis, Mr. Pfizer, Aaron Rodgers dubbed him, and Taylor Swift, who he called the Chiefs Yoko Ono, so great comparison there. On Christmas Day, use that comparison, and during the AFC Championship game, in a tweet where he was criticizing Lamar's triple coverage pick, the Taylor Swift Super Bowl's here. You failed America, Ravens. How did they fail America? They may have failed Baltimore. They may have failed themselves as a team by not reaching the Super Bowl. It sucks for them. They did not fail America. If you're rooting against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because you're tired of their dominance and you're rooting for the kid Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, to win the Super Bowl, I get that. We've had a lot of Super Bowls like that. We've had a lot of underdogs going against Brady. Brady himself was an underdog to the Rams back in 2001. We've had plenty of underdog Super Bowls. If that's the reason you're rooting for the Niners, okay. There's a lot of people like that over the years. But if you're that threatened by a woman being shown on screen for 44 seconds, and in the totality of the 9-hour playoff run, 9.5-hour playoff run that we've seen on television this year for the Kansas City Chiefs, she's been shown for 2.5 minutes. She's been shown on screen for 0.4% of the Chiefs' playoff games combined. If you're threatened by that, that's probably a you problem, because you are everything that she is not. Secure, happy, joyful, successful, rich, good-looking. She had a couple bad relationships with men. You sure your relationship, if you have one that is good? I will leave it at that. That is it for this week's edition of Carving Up the Context. And by the way, to all those who are threatened by this, to all those who are truly to their core bothered by Taylor Swift, as someone once said, you need to calm down. Let's look at the comments here. Chloe, for the Super Bowl, Taylor needs to lead the Chiefs out to Are You Ready For It? I don't think they would do that. Listen, of course, Lil Wayne led your Packers out, which, by the way, I think is cool. Anytime, I've always believed this. Even as far as politics, like, I'm still talking about the Cowboys. Like, a couple of times a year, they'll show they show Jerry Jones' booth every game. And by the way, Jerry Jones isn't playing. Oh my God, we love the Jerry Jones shots where if the Cowboys are playing poorly and they show Jerry and he's just staring on the field, he's just like the little slap on the little pound on the table where he's mad or something, or you see him like cussing, taking his glasses off. Like, we enjoy that. But a couple times a year, you look at Jerry's booth. That's Governor Christie, or that's former President Bush. Anytime politics and sports intertwine, anytime entertainment and sports intertwine, that's great. You know why it's great? Because sports, I've said this so many times, is the great unifier in America. That and music. Because when you go to a concert, like I've told the story, like I went to a Luke Bryan concert over the summer. I'm going to lay all of my money on the line that I did not agree politically with virtually everybody in that room. Enjoyed every second of the concert. Loved it. Luke Bryan put on a great show because that's Luke Bryan. That's what he does. I'm sure the same could be said about Taylor Swift's tours. I mean, there were liberals in there. There were conservatives in there. There were independents like myself in there. Libertarian, doesn't matter. It unites people. And by the way, let's be honest about this as well. Some of this has to do with the fact that we've got more women involved now more than ever watching the NFL. Again, as I mentioned, the highest rated season, the highest female viewership in the NFL since that was tracked starting in 2000. Highest female viewership ever. You got young girls watching the NFL. I can't tell you the number of stories I've heard from dads, secure men, who have said that, hey, now my girls are watching football. Now on Sundays, when the Chiefs are playing, they want to come in and they're going to see Taylor. But they're like, and they want to see Travis as well. But they're like, hey, this is kind of interesting. More fans. Great. That's more people involved, more people watching the biggest games of the season. Yay, that's a good thing. It's unbelievable. You know? By the way, someone just pointed out to me just now. Then we'll move on to Bryson's best 10. Doesn't it seem like the same people that are outraged at Taylor are the same people who I've, let's be honest, owned for 8 years that have talked about boycotting the NFL? And the ratings have never been higher. Anyways, Taylor Swift, you rock. And by the way, I'm not even somebody who listens to Taylor Swift's music. Like Shake It Off. I love Shake It Off. I love Shake It Off. And that song comes to the radio. Trouble, that's one of my favorite songs. But it's like a couple, 2, 3, 4 songs. Love those. And then, some of her other music is just not for me. It doesn't necessarily fit my taste. But I don't have to go on Twitter or Instagram and say, I can't stand Taylor Swift. She sucks. She's this, she's that. Insecure people do, though. And listen, if supporting Taylor Swift as a human being and supporting her right to go watch her boyfriend play a football game, if that makes me a Swiftie, then gosh darn it, I'm a Swiftie. And by the way, Swifties, you're welcome here on Carving It Up Live. You are more than welcome here. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.